So today we doing a reaction video. I think it's kind of funny. I think it's kind of comedy, but dude is serious. Just keeping it a bean. GuttaTV, dude out of Arkansas. He got 291,000 followers on Instagram, but his presence is far more known on YouTube. He has 317,000 subscribers and 3,400 videos. Now we're about to watch two videos back to back. What he is saying is he is looking for two R&B artists actually. But check out the requirements.
PSA.
Everybody hit me in the DM talking about they trying to get signed. I told everybody I'm looking for two R&B artists. Listen, man, I ain't leave no requirements, but let me say this. People, if you got a job, you're not who I'm looking for. I'm sorry. If you rap and sing too, you're not who I'm looking for. I'm not looking for no old Drake ass, YF and Lucci ass shit. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a real R&B singer. Them boys is dope and great, but I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for an R&B singer, male or female. Like I said, first off, if you have a job, you are not who I'm looking for. I need somebody dedicated, 100%. All they do is music, and they take it serious. I don't got time to play with somebody that go to work. The hell? How you gonna make it? You ain't got time.
PSA.
Hey, yo, GuttaTV. Hey, look, let me clear up some shit, man. The other day I said I'm looking for two R&B artists, right? And I mean that. I'm looking for two R&B artists. And all y'all seem to have a problem with my requirements. First off, like I said, you cannot have a motherfucking job. If you got a job, how the fuck you gonna become who I want you to become? You gotta call people and ask them, hey, can I go to Atlanta with Gutta? Hey, can I go to... You gotta call and ask people, can you get off? You gotta call and ask people, can you stay? You be like, I gotta leave the studio at 10 because I gotta work tomorrow. Listen, bro, you're not who I'm looking for. I need somebody that's dedicated. The only people I ever seen make it for real, them motherfuckers didn't have no job. Niggas sat up at the studio all day, broke, smoking weed. R&B singer or rapper. So I don't want to hear that shit. You can't work, I don't want to hear it. No job, or go sign with somebody else.
Now to me this is funny. Like I don't really take this serious, but there are going to be artists who take it serious, and he's probably serious himself. I can almost guarantee he's serious himself. So I'm going to touch on this from multiple angles. So let's start with the whole nobody I know had a job when they made it. I'm going to give you a whole four, right? That had jobs. Because, and this is the thing, when people say stuff like what he said, I just got to keep it a bean. These be people with the money and the resources that shouldn't be doing this type, that shouldn't be throwing their hat in this arena because they don't study the game. If you don't know one rapper, if you don't know a couple rappers, if you don't know a couple entertainers who have had jobs, then you don't know enough come-up stories to really be investing money into trying to get somebody else's come up or just anything like that. That's my opinion. Let's go down these artists. The first one we're going to throw out there is Kanye West. Kanye West has had a bunch of jobs, but even when you listen to Spaceship, he is rapping about the job he had. If you listen to the end of Late Registration, it's not like once he got his first placement, boom, he was just paid out the wazoo. Bruh, Kanye is as confident as he is. He had to do the most maneuvering to get on. Go and listen to the end of, College Dropout, actually, not Late Registration. The end of College Dropout, that last track. Just go and listen to it. Listen to that rant that he do at the end. Here's another one. You ready? Big Sean. Big Sean got signed to Kanye, but guess what? Big Sean was working in a call center. The call center was close to the radio station. His man told him, yo, Kanye is down at the Detroit radio station right now. Bruh, call off, leave early, come down here and freestyle for this dude. That's what he did, and that's how he got on. Now, this is the thing. Neither one of those rappers are slouches. Neither one of those rappers are slouches. Those are, if they're not both superstars, Big Sean is way up there. But let's throw out another Kanye alumni. Let's throw out another one. Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi met Most Def, Yasin Bey, in a clothing store he was working at. And I'm pretty sure he passed him off a CD. If he wasn't working in that clothing store, it wouldn't have worked out. Shit, this dude wasn't even on my list of people. Trinidad James. He actually put himself on. But the way he was able to put himself on, I think he either owned or worked at a clothing store, and a bunch of rappers from Atlanta was buying shit from that clothing store. But he was able to get the capital to get his video on World Star and all that from that job. He put himself on with the money that he got from the business or job. But the thing is, it's not just a business where he just, could be a vacant manager and just not be that. No, he had to be there doing the work. And guess what? He got on. He actually invested money from that business or job and got on. Let me give you another one because we're just naming all top tier rappers right now, right? J. Cole was working a fucking job. We don't got to break that down. You should know that J. Cole was a working man. We'll even throw this out here. Cardi B was a stripper. You got to report taxes when you do that. So even though it's an underground gutter job, she was a stripper before she got her come up. She was also on Love and Hip Hop. I'll even throw this one out here. Drake was on Degrassi as an actor. As an actor. That's a job. At the end of the day, that's a job. So that's number one. Having a job is not going to hinder you from getting on. So that's something that artists need to know. But this is also another thing. The individual saying this is he just does not have the knowledge. He just does not have the knowledge. And the thing I wonder when I see things like this is, how are you going to get somebody on when you don't even study how people get on? And even if you study how people get on, if not having a job is a concern, right? And we ain't even talking about no gutter armed. Like, he said he didn't want no singing rappers. So the YFN Lucci's and all the street dudes, they're out of the picture, which we're going to get to in a moment. All the street dudes are out of the picture because they're going to be doing that type of music. But if you study the game and you couldn't find no rappers that had jobs, your study is bad. You're not really doing your due diligence. Now, this is the second point that I'm going to make. Second point. Now, I don't know if GuttaTV has ever had a job. I don't know if he is an ex-street dude. The thing that I know is when it comes to interviews and being around rappers and stuff, like, he's been doing that a long time. And I'm talking about industry rappers. Industry rappers. So 9 times out of 10, what he is doing with GuttaTV is his career. Now, this is the thing as well. Even if he is not a street dude, he messed with damn near exclusively street rappers, right? Southern street rappers for the most part. So I say that to make this point. When it comes to certain types of individuals, I could say people in the entertainment industry who have been in the entertainment industry and probably never had a real job or had a real job for a short second and just have been in the industry for quite a while, like a long time, or even street dudes who have never had a real job but just been in the streets the whole time. These people are by far the most out of touch when it comes to how most regular Americans live their life. I was going to throw a clip in here, but I'm not. There's a dude named Deontay Kyle. He goes crazy on TikTok and he got a podcast. He's really viral. He sat down with Kev on stage and he said, He was really messed up at one point because he had got out the streets and he had been making good money in the streets. And he started, like, because he wanted to do the right thing, he started going to work. And he had never had a real job before. This is his first real job at some fast food shit. And when he seen the check, he was fucked up because he just doing the work. And even at the job, he was fucked up because he like, man, y'all doing this hard work every day for this right here. This is crazy. And the reason I bring that up is because he basically said he didn't understand, number one, how hard it is for regular people as far as most Americans, but also that he was making way more money than the average American makes. Now, he didn't say that last part, but it was implied. And this is the issue. If you are a grown adult, right? Most grown adults, even in the black community, because it's a small percentage of us that do crime, most of us don't want to go to fucking jail. Most of us don't want to risk our freedom, which when I have to mention that because that is the easier way, regardless how hard people say you do fucking selling drugs and stuff. That is the easier way to get a lot of fucking money. Now, I'm not saying it takes no work to be a street dude and it's extremely easy, but if you look at most street dudes, they absolutely hate being told what to do by anybody. They absolutely loathe the idea of working for another person. They love the freedom that they have in the streets as far as not having somebody over them like a supervisor or a manager, or being able to get fired and having to, show up and have professionalism and things like that. But they would rather risk their life. They would rather risk their livelihood and their actual life, putting their life on the line with the possibility of death. They would rather do that and make the money that they get from that than to put all that down and go and work at Steak and Shake, go and work at the UPS, go and get a CDL. They would rather be in the streets and live how they want to live with no restrictions than to go that route, than to go the square route and get a job. So we could sit up here and we could debate, oh, it's hard, it's tough, it's up. We could do that. But they would rather do that, and they make more, in a lot of cases, they make more money doing it. And in some cases, they don't even make that much money. In some cases, they don't make that much money. Now, I know we got really sidetracked, but I have to say all that to say the regular average American has bills. As far as anybody over, if you hit like 21, 22, you got a phone bill you got something you got to pay. You got a car, you got to pay the lease fee or the car note, whatever the case may be. You got to pay for the gas on that. You got to pay for the insurance. That's bare minimum shit. Just for you to get to point A to point B and stuff like that. Even if you a New Yorker or something like that, which he really deal with people in the South for the most part, you're going to have money to get that fare, to get on if not the bus, the subway. You're going to have to use that public transportation. You're going to have money to do that. So most people, adults, are going to work just to get that little bit of money that you need to do that. Don't let you be an adult that is living on your own. Don't let you be an adult to where you have a place. Don't let you be an adult to where you have children. Don't let you be an adult to where we could even take the children out the picture. You have a girl or you have a household, you and another person. You have to work there has to be some income, right? So when you look at this, and I had to illustrate all that drug dealer stuff and all of that before, because when you really look at this and you're in America, it's going to break down to one of four things. One of three or four things. I'm going to just go through them. So if you're not going to have a job, because that's typically the route that everybody goes, right? You're going to have to, I'll throw this one out here, start a business, which in most cases, your business might as well be a job because you have to show up every day to the business. Most people don't make businesses where they could be passively getting money, or they could, have somebody else manage it while they in fucking some resort somewhere. Most people don't have their businesses set up like that. So they have to actually go and show up and work. I worked at a pizza shop and my boss used to pull up in a Lamborghini. Every fucking Friday he would come hop out the Lamborghini at the pizza shop and make pizzas him fucking self. He didn't have to do that 5 days a week. But he decided, I'm going to come in and I'm with a Lamborghini, right? So that's the first thing. Or the first two things. You could get a job or you could own a business. So you could do things a square way. This is the third way. And this is the way that it has just opened up. You could do the gig work. You could do the DoorDash. You could do XYZ. If you are in a good market, it's possible for you to stay afloat or make a living doing that. If you are not in a good market to where you can get a lot of work really fast, endlessly, then it's going to be tough for you, right? But that's some relatively new shit. And I'm going to be honest, like, he probably might frown upon that. That might not have even crossed his head as far as that being a way somebody get income. What are the other two ways? These are the last two ways you can go as an adult. Ready? Selling drugs. We touched on that deluxe. We don't got to do that. All I can say is you could risk your freedom. You could die or go to jail. You could die or go to jail selling drugs. And let's just get this out the way. If you're not looking for no wife and Lucci, like a nigga doing all that, if you're not looking for a nigga doing all that and rapping, you're not going to find too many drug dealing R&B singers. You're just not going to find too many drug dealing R&B singers. And if they drug dealing R&B singers, they're probably going to want to kick some gangster shit in that R&B. So that just don't math to me unless you're looking for a Life Jennings type of nigga. Like, if you're looking for that, then that's cool. But the last thing, which they don't really make too many of those nowadays. But the last thing that I'm going to say, they didn't even make too many of those then. But the last thing I'm going to say, oh man, before we even go, did y'all see Lloyd? Yeah, anyways, the last option out of all those options, right? If you're going to be an artist and you're not going to have a job and you are not in the streets and you are not doing Uber, you could do the homeless route. You could be somebody who is couch surfing or whatever the case may be. And let me tell you something, you could actually make it like that. It got to a point where, I'm not going to lie to you, I was bothered a little bit by these stories of homeless rap, because I'm like, okay, so all of y'all homeless? It became the rapper come up story go-to move. 3 rappers that I know that were homeless, who say they were homeless at least: Tory Lanez, Travis Scott, MGK. So you can make it. You can make it being homeless, right? Who wants to do that? Is a hard way to live, dog. That is a hard way to live, but people have done it. And that's going to bring me to my last point. See, when we get to talking rap shit and we get to talking music industry shit, this should be really hilarious to me, because one thing I tell my young dudes, like as far as rappers and stuff like that, dog, don't sign anything on no paper with somebody who is not from an actual label that is going to give you an advance. That is the only way you sign some paper. These niggas are going to give you an advance, and it's an actual label. An actual label or a publishing deal or something. Like, it has to be official. You got to be able to go to their website. Oh, Dua Lipa is on this label. Whatever the case, you gotta be able to do that. Do not sign, because you got niggas like Fabio Foreign who signed the Mace and was complaining about the deal. Because you think just because the nigga is a rapper and he been on, like everything's gonna be good, everything's. Look, that got his foot in the door, that got him in, but he complained about that deal. He complained about how that deal went. Lil Uzi Vert was on, and Meg Thee Stallion both on Twitter complaining about their deals. Meg Thee Stallion signed with a manager before she signed a deal. With a manager. Why the fuck would you do that? But then you have Lil Uzi Vert signing Don Cannon and DJ Drama, complaining about his deal in the timeline. These niggas don't study. None of these niggas in the game study the game. So you could get into the game and you could be fucking mad when you get in the game. That's what you can do. So many artists make it easy for them to get jerked. And that brings me to like this whole like, bruh, how are you looking to sign artists, but you not talking chicken? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. You looking to sign artists, but you not talking about paying for these artists' lives so they could not work. This is what niggas want to do. This is what niggas want to do. They want to look at you, take your talent, box it up, and then invest in different avenues to expose you as far as like getting you exposure, build you up. This is after you sign, you know, your rights to them. They want to see how far they could get you. And then if they can get you to that label, if they can get you to that A&R, if they can get you somewhere, then when the money actually comes, they take a bunch of that. Even though nigga ain't been like, I mentioned Kid Cudi earlier. Somebody who managed Kid Cudi, they didn't have him sign no paperwork or nothing like that. And Kid Cudi got on, even though the dude was doing so much for Kid Cudi got on and didn't cut that dude no bread. And he was running around complaining about it. So I understand getting your cut. I understand 100% getting your cut as a manager or whatever the case may be. I am not against that. Get your money. Get your money. But the thing is, like, when you say, like, a motherfucker can't have no job, that shit is just comedy to me. So a motherfucker is supposed to not be working, be running around with you everywhere else, and then you upset that the nigga can't feed himself. Like, the nigga like, yo, could you give me some? Bruh, you supposed to have your own money. You supposed to have your own money, but you don't got no job. But the nigga don't, but you wanted a nigga without a job. But you not talking about putting no money in these niggas' pockets. And that's the comedy to me, because if you don't know, or if you know, yeah, I used to rap a long time ago, bruh. I'm not doing the cartoon shit. I'm not doing the let's play record label, and you know, you don't even go to register a LLC, or you register a LLC, there's no advance, it doesn't look like a real deal, but I'm signing my name on the paper, I'm signing certain rights away to you, and you haven't given me jack shit up front. You might have even gave me a rack up front, something that a nigga should never be signing for. And I'm gonna stop there, because I could really do this shit all day, but niggas, I'm telling you, like, this shit goes on all the time. And niggas will be like, oh man, yeah, he just got a big platform, I could possibly make it. It's a chick a white chick, she's a rapper on YouTube. She said that she got scammed for 50 racks. And guess how she got scammed for 50 racks? She said that somebody she trusted as a manager he said something along the lines, he was going to set her up with, like, you know, a record executive from Atlantic, and it was going to take 50K. She gave him 50K. That motherfucker disappeared off the face of the earth. That's it. Motherfuckers be getting jerked. I'm not saying he would do that at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying right here at this point, as far as me mentioning that, most of these artists will fall for anything. They don't get it. They don't get that, yo, you could really build this yourself. You could really get your own team. You could really see who is willing to pitch in with you on your vision. You could really link with a producer. Like, fuck shit. I know I wasn't willing to link with too many niggas and just be like, oh, here's free beats. But there was one or two that I was like, yo, you were my people. But when I look at this, it's like, yo, you don't want them to have a job, but you're not talking about paying them. Where is the chicken talk? When did the chicken talk come in? Y'all rappers got to stop falling for that, man. That's just what it is. And when it comes to producers, which I gear this channel towards producers for the most part, some of y'all have issues getting paid too. And you really need to understand the business and move accordingly when it comes to the business and getting your paper. I got a video that I did about Peasy and the producer of his biggest hit. Him and the producer had a fallout about the money. Click on the screen wherever the video is at. Check that out. I'll catch y'all another day. Somehow, some way. I'm out.